Guys, UFC 300 was a dream. So many good, incredible moments that will live in MMA history forever, especially for me as a fan. But right now, all I'm gonna talk about is Zhang Weili versus Xiaonan. What an incredible fight. For me, personally, delivered so hard, even so much better than I thought it would be. My expectations for this fight would be a pretty dominant fight, honestly, for Zhang Weili. If you watch my breakdown video, I was kind of predicting a similar fight to the Limoges fight, and in a lot of ways, it sort of was, right? Zhang Weili, her main effort was to get this fight to the mat where she could land ground and pound, attempt submissions, and a couple times, nearly looked like she had Xiaonan out of there. But guys, no matter where you fall in the fandom spectrum, you gotta hand it to Xiaonan. Incredible championship performance from her, and a lot of times where she had Zhang Weili in a really bad spot. Not necessarily saying she was close to finishing the fight, but a couple knockdowns, some really great striking on the feet that we saw from her. And so you gotta give Xiaonan your respect for that fight. Definitely won at least one round. For me, that would be round 3. But let's talk about this fight from start to finish. Round 1, a really great round for Xiaonan up until the last minute. Until then, I was ready to give Xiaonan that whole round. She landed well with the left hook. If you watch my video again, I pointed things out like the speed of Xiaonan, the left hook, the side kick, the distance management. All of these things were used so well by Xiaonan over this whole fight. And in the first round, also like I said in my breakdown video, she starts really fast, always starts on top of her game. And an awesome round 1 for Xiaonan. And an awesome round 1 for Xiaonan, right up to the point in the 4th minute of round 1 when Zhang Weili takes her down to the mat and doesn't submit her, but sends her with 1 foot into the shadow realm at the end of the fight. And people say she was out, she wasn't, but I mean, if you don't tap, I mean, you can't be saved by the bell, but at the same time, if you can get back up to your feet, we see fighters all the time get practically knocked out, but they just kind of get back to their feet and stumble their way back into the fight. And it was almost a similar situation with Xiaonan. Being a doctor or a ref where you can really see what's going on, they ultimately have the power to call off the fight. They decide not to. In a way, I'm kind of glad that they didn't. I mean, Xiaonan really kept fighting her way back into that fight. The thing that really did frustrate me was, and this is common things that we see from commentators like DC and like Rogan, speculating, first of all, that Xiaonan was totally out of the fight. Also speculating that her corner team was using smelling salts to bring her back to full consciousness, which are in fact not legal in an MMA fight. To use things like ammonia or smelling salt. Had a follower on Twitter send that over to me in the rules that it is definitely illegal, so they're right with that. But a lot of speculation that they thought that they might have used it when they definitely didn't. John Anik pointing this out on the broadcast, so a little bit frustrating when you call someone out as a cheater and you don't really have the evidence to back that up. A lot of speculation there. So either way, added a lot of drama to the fight. You think that Xiaonan almost out of the fight. And then the second round, another near smashing for the champion. She trips Yan to the ground, landing heavy ground and pound throughout the round, nearly getting the stoppage, trapping Yan in the arm triangle submission, and Yan somehow surviving, waiting it out, using the telephone maneuver to try to get as much space as possible, and eventually able to turn over to her belly, get back up to the feet. Incredible resilience shown by Xiaonan. And then you have this round 3. Yan kind of fights her way back into the fight and makes this not so dominant of a fight for the champion. Right in round 3, we got to see her use the side kick, The striking on point, Yan kind of catching her second wind here, and I can't be the one to say that Zhang was tiring, but it did seem like she was slowing down a little bit. Maybe she felt that she was dumping a lot of energy in those first 2 rounds through those submission attempts, tried to slow the fight down herself. Either way, Yan really looking sharp in round 3, even seals the deal with a takedown late in the round. Really admirable stuff from her, but then Zhang Weili also has that never die spirit. And then in the 4th round, the drama continues. Yan knocks down Zhang with a left hook and really puts this whole fight into the balance, but Zhang really intelligently uses the double leg to take Yan down to the ground. Takedowns were pretty lights out this whole entire fight, whether she was going for the trips or for the takedowns at range, which I thought that might have been a area that Zhang may want to focus on, is trying to take Yan down at range. It seemed like in the past she'd been a little bit more susceptible to that. And Yan, she defended well when she was on the mat. She was always able to work her way out of things, but during scrambles sometimes seemed a little bit lost. Didn't always know which way to zig or zag, and eventually could kind of figure it out. But Zhang, the much stronger fighter on the ground, able to usually get things where she wanted to, but every once in a while Yan would surprise you. She'd pop out. She was able to flip things around to get things back in her favor. So great stuff from her. And then by round 5, it seemed like Yan was either tiring, slowing down in some way, and Zhang able to get that takedown and just clinch the 5th round on the mat. Yan pretty much out of steam here. Both fighters at this point have given a lot to this fight. Both of them have taken heavy shots from each other, but the closer moments to a finish definitely belonging to the champ Zhang Weili, who wins the fight 49-45 on all judges' scorecards, sealing the unanimous decision. So huge congrats to the champ Zhang Weili. She defends the belt for the 2nd time in her 2nd reign. Now has championship wins over Jessica Andrade, over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, over Carla Esparza, Amanda Lemos, and now Yan Xiaonan, who is the #1 contender. Where do we go from here? Overall, Zhang's performance, I think you saw I wouldn't say it was her best performance, to be honest, and that's partially giving credit to Yan Xiaonan being, I think, one of her toughest tests, where she still got the win for sure. The speed of Yan was a problem, giving her a lot of things to worry about on the feet, but ultimately it comes down to being able to put the fight where you want it to go. It comes down to your strength and conditioning and winning more rounds than your opponent. And so Zhang Weili has that championship experience and able to get the job done. You could maybe criticize the conditioning, saying that she tired a little bit, but in a 5-round fight, you're gonna have moments that swing back and forth. You're gonna have faster moments, you're gonna have slower moments, and when you put so much effort into trying to choke someone unconscious, not once but twice, using all of your upper body strength, even a supremely well-conditioned athlete, that's gonna take a lot out of their tank. So I don't necessarily count that against Zhang. We've seen her in multiple 5-round fights where she's given everything she has, so I wouldn't make too much of that. For overall, I feel like Zhang's stock, for me, is about the same, which I say that in my heart, declaring her as the #1 pound-for-pound woman on the planet. But her stock, I would say, is about the same. Didn't drop, didn't rise for me. About the same. Some things I think that she could have done better in the fight, but ultimately she stuck to the game plan. For Yan, I think her stock definitely rises in this fight. I don't think there are many people giving her a chance in the fight. I thought, and honestly, I was one of those people. I thought it was gonna be a total shutout victory for Zhang Weili, especially on the feet. I mean, both fighters had their moments. Zhang had a really beautiful head kick in the 1st round. Overall, the better striking, the more impactful strikes were from Yan Xiaonan. The resolve, the resilience, the denial of wanting to ever tap or give up in the fight, definitely very admirable as well. So, at 35 years old, are we gonna see Yan Xiaonan fight her way back into the title picture? I think after a close, I'm not gonna say close fight, after a really admirable performance with a lot of notable, really respectable moments where she kept the fight interesting. I would say, she's probably 2 fights away from another title shot. Granted, she's gonna have to fight 2 other fighters at the top of the division. And as far as what's next for the strawweight division, they wanted Tatiana Suarez to fight Amanda Lemos back at UFC 298 in February. And hopefully, I don't know what Tatiana Suarez's status is, but I could really see them rebooking that fight, even for something like June or International Fight Week, if Suarez is healthy, if Lemos is healthy from her last fight as well. I think that they could make that fight happen. Zhang Weili just fought a 5-round war with Xiaonan. Probably, I would think you'll see her return near the end of the year, which the timing would then be perfect if Suarez can get past Amanda Lemos and be healthy. I feel like that is the fight I hear people talk about the most. That fight seems the most interesting to me. A lot of the other fights would be rematches. Suarez, while a lot of people want to see her fight for the title now, there's something inside of me that still feels like she needs to get past someone in the top 5 of the division. A lot of fighters, have you noticed, will get a title shot after beating Jessica Andrade, and that was Suarez's last fight. Really impressive fight, but I still feel like there's just one more fight remaining before giving her a chance at the title, especially if Zhang is going to be out for a while. Then yeah, I think that's the way to go. It also looks like Alexa Grasso and Valentina Shevchenko are going to fight potentially in September, so that puts any kind of possibility of a fight with Grasso and Zhang out of reach until probably next year if both of them are still in the same position. But overall, I loved the fight, guys. I loved it. As much as I expected a dominant fight from Zhang Weili, something inside of me just really wanted to see both of these women shine. Given the platform, the UFC 300 co-main event, I really wanted them to be able to put on a fight for the fans that elevated the stock of both fighters, that was something worthy of a fight. And I realize that I'm probably more invested in a fight like this. Being someone who reports on Chinese MMA, I feel really invested in both of these athletes, really wanted to see the best out of both of them. And I feel like we got that, especially from Yan Xiaonan. I think I don't want to be too critical of her performance because she got the win. She won the fight 49-45. She found a way to win not just 1 or 2, but 4 of these rounds, putting her on the brink of consciousness. And both of these fighters deserve all of our admiration, all of our praise. Send them your love. What did you think of the fight? Did you enjoy it as much as I did? Hope you enjoyed all of UFC 300. It was an incredible event that, as a fan, just really reminds us this is why we love MMA. My favorite moment from the night, definitely Max Holloway's KO. How could it not be? Give me your thoughts on the night, on the fight, and until next time, enjoy the fights.